What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the FTI Podcast, coming at you live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Hopefully, everyone is staying warm out there. If you're here in northeastern Ohio, it's a little cold, and apparently, it's cold everywhere. As even some places down south and out west. I think Florida and maybe Hawaii are the only ones that are faring with decent weather. But we are here for episode 2 of the second season here in 2024, and I am joined with Dan and Chris. How are you guys today?
I'm doing pretty good. Still the same as everybody else, dealing with the cold. And yeah, for sure, it is cold everywhere. My uncle lives down in Texas, and got a buddy down in Oklahoma. And regardless of how cold it is colder than everybody's liking. So that's the biggest thing that I got going on right now, is dealing with that.
The cold got me the day off of work today, paid. So it's a win-lose for me. You know, I hate going outside and being cold, but I'll take a day off of work any day, especially because I was coming off of 8 straight days in a row. I was going to do 12, would have been 12 in a row, but somehow missed that with the cold today, and then hoping this snow, maybe I'll get another one Friday.
Part-timer.
Best part about working for a school system.
Yeah, man.
Get the day off. I knew last night I took a nap yesterday. Woke up about 4:30, and Kyle, I think your wife had texted me snow day tomorrow, and I was like, doubtful. And
And she was like, "No, we have one."
Yeah, I opened Facebook after that, and one of the local pages had said, snow day, and I was like, oh, never mind. We do have a snow day. So, yeah, I'll take that whenever.
Yeah, I had to go get gas this morning around 7:30, and that was really freaking cold. I normally tough it out and stand outside my car. I did not today.
I shut it off. Did you at least shut it off?
Yeah, I always shut my car off.
All right. Just checking.
I yell at my roommate.
Unlike
always
my father.
leaves the car on.
So if you end up watching this, Mr. Henline, turn your car off. It's a fire hazard, dude.
My roommate does the same thing. She
this
always
ain't the 80s anymore.
I don't know. The 80s might be worse.
Oh, so we had quite an eventful weekend.
Yeah.
Well,
chilly
all of
week.
last week.
The whole week, yeah.
7 days in a row.
Yeah, started pretty hot out the gate at practice.
Well, I guess we should start off with the winner of our little game there, our picks. Yeah, like I said when we did our picks, it was his to lose after dominating Race of Champions on Monday.
Yeah,
I didn't think.
So who had who?
I had CV.
And what, Kyle, who'd you have?
I had Thorson.
Where'd Thorson go?
He made it to the main, didn't he?
Yeah, he made it to the A main.
Yeah, he was in the main.
I think
he was
I'm
doing pretty
then.
decent, and then something happened with us.
Yeah, he fell back.
Oh, he had a flat, and then he just pulled completely off.
Oh yeah, that was the one that it was just like mysterious. Like he like kind of pulled into the work area and then just went up the ramp.
Yeah, and even the flow people were like, "What?" Now, did yours even make it?
I don't think he did.
Yours made it to a C or a B.
I was in the C.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have the best prelim night, so but he still did good. He still had some, still rooted for him, of course, but yeah, I definitely I'll be the one paying for the go-kart session after that pick.
Speaking of,
I would have picked Larson probably besides that. So I think I still was going to be.
you were still going to be the loser. Speaking
Yeah,
of prelim nights and Kyle Larson, what a disastrous prelim night for him on Thursday.
yeah.
Yeah,
all of this hype.
Well, the one thing, and I mean, I race and everything, but I'm not speaking down on any, other race or anything. But once he was talking about the story about him leaving all his stuff down elsewhere, and didn't have any of it there, I'm like, man, already seems like his head isn't where it normally is to forget the gear. I mean, that's one of the things I'm worried about most. Do I got a suit and do I got a helmet? Do I at least have the things that will make it look like I came with what I needed, But like I said, not knocking him or anybody else, but that was as soon as that was said, I wasn't expecting anything too crazy.
I know they showed his, when they did the interviews and stuff, they showed his helmet. And I was like, is that his normal helmet? Because it kind of, all those big money racing guys, they all have, nice
New helmets every couple
new
weeks,
helmets,
or
nice
special
custom
helmets.
painted helmets, all that kind of stuff. So you'd figure, and you saw that, and it kind of looked like just an off the shelf helmet, and you're like, Then you start hearing the stories of him forgetting his stuff in New Mexico while he's racing in Oklahoma.
Which I mean, I'd be
Ryan Prosser. First of all, he says hello from Honduras, so he's definitely enjoy the nice warm weather. I think you were on a cruise, so that's even better. Enjoy the free pizza, the pizza bar. But he says that referring to Larson, he is human and has bad luck like everyone else. I didn't think he was human.
I think that was I was reading some of the dirt tracker notes from his episodes, and one of the headlines was Kyle Larson is in fact human.
Yeah. And that's the one thing too, especially at the Chili Bowl. I mean, a lot of it's on the good and bad luck you get throughout the weekend, throughout the night. So he only had so much luck to try to use up anyway, and he still did good for what he was, kind of dealing with.
I just think of I'm gonna say the superhuman abilities of racing 6 nights at Vado in a late model, fly into Tulsa to jump into a midget and go try and just race in the biggest midget event in the country all in 1 week. Just you have an off day from your late model and you just call someone up, hey, let me get in that car.
Yeah.
And then you forget your gear, you're placed a little farther back, you've got no practice. I mean, yeah, everyone only had what limited time they had on Sunday.
Yeah.
No practice, you're unfamiliar with the car, goes out, flips in his heat race, has to start in a C. Did he win his C main? He drove through the C main, drives through the B main, makes it to the A, has to start 20th in that, feature, and drove it like he stole it, trying to make it, I think he started 20th, had to make it up to second to make it to the A on Saturday.
Yeah, and then someone made it. Who went all the way through?
No one made. Oh, that night, I remember.
I thought someone went all the way through it with when did all the soup stuff, and then
no one on the soup. I think someone made it from like a D or an E into the main.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking. Not all of it, all the way from the farthest one, but somebody made it from
where only they do 3 or 4 feet.
Apparently it was Pursley.
Yeah, Jason Pursley.
Thank you, Ryan.
I was trying to do some show prep today, and Yeah, we cover so much.
Don't hang out with us too long. You're on vacation. Don't make your wife mad.
No, we have to ask him. We have to talk about him a little bit anyway. So we got to do it while he's at least watching and paying attention.
Go for it.
Well, I just wanted to say something about. So they posted this week about TJ's in the car for this year. I know he said he's going to spill some more news on it about his schedule and some other stuff, but it's good to hear that news. Another local car filled out. I know TJ was kind of looking for something for, a couple months there at the end of the season, and had his kind of plans kind of up in the air for this whole year, from what I understood. And, it's cool for, guys to land some rides and, be able to bring another car to the track for the season. And the mock-up looks pretty good too. I like the colors.
We just like the orange because it always looks good on camera.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
orange.
It's red.
It's red, kind of a neon safety red.
Yes,
Safety
yeah,
red.
I like the neon around the 19. Looks good.
Yeah.
I like
a lot
that.
of
The
it because we
black
do
and
all
the
of
white
our
angles.
half our shooting in the dark.
It's
as much
flow
as
red. It's what he said.
I love black race cars. You can never go wrong with a black race car. They're so hard to photograph.
They don't like to
so that's-
focus against the dirt.
I don't know if Ryan will probably say something eventually, but yeah, so that's like I said, we're getting to that time of year. They announced that, and like Street posted something about looking for sponsors for his car and filling that out for the year. So it's getting closer. You're hearing from guys and seeing stuff, and some things are actually getting put into motion. So it's cool it's good, and it's cool to finally see that and kind of get that feeling that it's always coming. That month's always coming where we get back, but until then, it always feels like, is it ever going to actually get there? So it's nice seeing that stuff getting posted, and everyone's starting to get active on social media.
Yeah, we just want to get back to the track. The cold right now. You see all the Facebook posts of people like the meme of like, oh, I like it better when it's cold, and well, you better go outside and take them outdoor pictures right now.
Ow.
Yeah, it's cold.
So I have a theory about the track prep and all that.
For where?
Chris has
Anywhere
it in here
The Chili Bowl.
Chili Bowl.
Oh.
Going back to the Chili Bowl. Well, I'm jumping ahead. So we do have it here. So going to Saturday. I watched it happen live when Team has got wrecked. That was insane.
You got that picture of his thumbnail
No.
for his
Which
Team
one?
STV thing for this week?
Yeah,
It's got like Macintosh on that wrecking ball, at Miley Cyrus song.
I saw.
Like on his thing. Yeah, it is. That Team STV stuff's pretty funny. I like watching it. But the thumbnail or the picture on it was pretty good.
Guys,
That is funny.
truly what is this? Desert orange?
Desert orange.
It's pretty rough.
It's not good.
No. Oh, look who it is. But dude, that walking interview as they walked away from that.
Yeah, because he didn't know who it was, right?
Yeah,
was
he
like,
didn't know
"Oh,
who it was.
He thought it was this person and something else, and he's like, "Oh, it's Cannon, of course."
Cannon can't drive Macintosh.
I mean, yeah. And did you see Cannon's interview? I think they interviewed him after, and he's just like, "Yeah, I can't make any friends there." So it's probably like,
I mean, he owned up to it. He owned up that it was a stupid mistake. He shouldn't have done it. Now, they were saying neither of them knew, where they were in the race or what lap it was. So on, watching it we can all sit and comment watching it at home, but
Yeah.
you're making that pass for that last spot. Do you blame him?
No, I mean, it's the Chili Bowl. I mean, that stuff's kind of going to happen, but it's always awesome when it happens to the guys that are already mad at each other, and it just makes it picture perfect at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's I think T-Mez would have been doing the same thing in that situation. Maybe
Because
T-Mez
they
would have.
both said, they didn't know what position they were in. They're unaware, not sure of the lap count. So you make that bomb trying to make it into the show.
Yeah, and maybe everyone gets that spot. Like I said, it's just picture perfect. It was those two guys because that changed T-Mez's whole attitude. After he heard it. So.
Well, and then that led to the other big news of that is T-Mez getting kicked out of the Chili Bowl for throwing his steering wheel at the track workers. And I mean, you saw it. They showed it on Flow a little bit of the track workers kind of yelling at T-Mez, and you didn't see the throw of the steering wheel. So I was kind of like confused on why the track workers screaming at him. And then, you see the video, you hear it after the fact that, he threw his steering wheel in frustration and, they kicked him out. But
yeah, that never usually works out good.
Well, after they let him back in, they did that other interview and he said he had sold 600 T-shirts that weekend.
Damn.
Yeah.
That helps.
Guys, I could never go to the Chili Bowl because I would just come back with like trash bags full
you
of
would
T-shirts.
be broke.
I'd have to take $1,000.
Ryan commented on I don't think it was live, but he commented on the post.
But speaking of A-Main, it kind of turned into a rubbered up, follow the leader train race.
Yeah.
That kind of.
I mean, it kind of does that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's always at the end of the week, but I don't know. It seemed like it's been consistent and good, like it's been, in years past, and I think like anything else, they're getting better and better each time they're doing it.
Yeah, my thought on it is they only have 1 week a year to do this. Yeah, they have the shootout the 2 weeks prior to, but you only have your groundskeeper track, guy at one track. You know what that dirt's going to do most weeks.
Yeah.
You know what the moisture is going to do. You know this, you know that. They get 6 days a year to make sure that they can put on the best racing they can. And I mean, I'll give them credit. All week was great racing. A 55 lap feature. It's a pretty long race for dirt. And then
it did seem like Thursday there weren't as many flips or wrecks or anything. It just seemed like a
Kyle twice.
Oh yeah,
was there a total count?
I never saw a total count. I'd hear him on the broadcast say, "Oh, another one for the gravity count," but I don't know if I ever saw like Wikipedia post about it.
Yeah, because I don't think. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because I don't think I did either. So it was kind of, but I feel like I didn't notice as many flips or wrecks as normal.
Yeah, compared to last year, I don't think there was as many because last year's the first year I had ponied up the money to watch to buy Flow. So, but yeah, you had Keith Coons after the race. Chili Bowl tweet out Chili Bowl Nationals track prep gets an F grade.
Yeah, and I saw. Did you see Larson's post he had on there? He had a post like notes about what was good, what was bad, or anything about the whole thing with everything that they changed this year.
Did you see the Swindell tweet after the fact, or maybe it was an interview thing about how him and one car, one driver comes and beats the Chili Bowl with Keith Coons bringing 15 or something cars in.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, Swindell getting a little dig in there on that.
Yeah, and I mean Swindell's always been good there too. And I mean every time they go there, I mean they're always, competitive.
Pulse. Yeah, I had that in the notes too. His second one there being done at 9:30. The A-main starting at 10:15 our time.
Yeah.
9:15 their time. I worked all day Saturday. I worked like 13 hours on Saturday. So by the time that A-main started, I could barely. I saw Kyle on Sunday. They stopped by. I told him I could barely keep my eyes open from staying up Saturday night to watch or Friday night to watch the end of Friday to then be at work at 5:30 in the morning and watched it all day on my phone screen at my desk, and then finally caught it. Got home to watch on my TV.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know who cares or wants to hear his opinion on it with where he's stood on in the past, but
I do like the last one. Rodeo bar needs 3 times as many bartenders.
he's just putting out the real info.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, his wife's probably got to get a beer.
just in case he won. But I mean, yeah, with all the complainings with the track prep and this and that,
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it. I still love having a full week of racing on TV. I know I can come home. It starts at like 4:00. I could come home, turn the TV on, and watch it all night long. I do hate, and this will kind of lead into the next one, I do hate that it's the same week as Wild West Shootout. I wish Shootout was this week so I could watch that all week on TV.
Do you know what made me mad? That Flo had the Dakar rally. You couldn't watch it in our
in the United
area.
States.
And
Yeah.
I was like, come on, because I was waiting for Chili Bowl to come on. I was like, come on.
Just
Actually,
run a VPN and say you're out there. So I don't think
Yeah.
you're there.
I should have. I think there was a death related to the Dakar rally this year.
I mean, that honestly wouldn't surprise me.
But I do have a theory that this was Logan Seavey's second win in a row. He started on pole, didn't he?
Yeah.
Minimal track prep helped it rubber in.
He started second.
Okay, but
because PPM started. Or not. Was it PPM?
Starts up front. Conspiracy. Track rubbered in.
I mean, yeah. Stevie's a driver. He's good in a lot of stuff, and he's always good in that building. So he's not a surprise, and it probably won't be the last either.
I mean, with everything this year, all the wins in USAC, everything else, I'm going to go with what I said last Wednesday. It was his to lose, and, he's on fire right now. What is it? Okay, Chili Bowl, 3 Silver Crown victories, 8 USAC midget wins, 2 USAC sprint car victories, and non-wing sweep of the non-wing portion at 4 Crown. So,
yeah, he's good. He's not, and it doesn't even seem like he full-time races. It just seems like you see him at a lot of stuff popping up here and there. And I know he's been a reporter on Flow and stuff before at some special events. So it's he's all around, man. He's like I said, he's a good wheelman.
So anything else on the Chili Bowl last week?
When are we going?
Whenever we can get credentials and fly out there.
The year after. I'm planning on going to Gateway this year, so if we can make it to Chili Bowl,
Yeah, and then
take a month off and then go to Chili Bowl.
shoot out in Chili Bowl. Yeah, speaking
We're
of,
just gonna rent an RV. Just gonna buy one.
You don't think your dad's RV is gonna make it all the way out there?
He won't take it 3 hours away, let alone. He probably wouldn't take it to Cincinnati.
His dad's got like an older carved RV that they've redone. It's really nice inside. It's just
it's carved so then you can actually fix it down the road if it does break.
Yeah, so, he's had to.
Yeah. But speaking of all that dirt racing this week, you know, again, the Wild West Shootout happening the same week as Chili Bowl. So, I mean, I don't think I watched any of it because.
Yeah, it's hard too. I mean, there's probably only so much, time frames and stuff for, races to be available to go on in the winter. And, you're probably pretty divided between the sprint car and late model, fan base of what they're going to watch. And,
that's speaking of that.
You should have multiple TVs up.
I do have multiple TVs. I just forgot about it all week.
Yeah, I told you the trick. You can work your way around it.
Well, if you're in the same house, it works just fine.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I've done that multiple times. Like, all last year, I think I watched both of them. But this year, I kind of forgot both of them were going on at one time. But, like I had mentioned earlier, Bobby Pierce won 5 of the 6 races and almost went 5 of 6. So he won 4 of the 6. He was 6 laps short of got a flat in the big feature. 6 laps short of winning. It got a flat, and that gave Kyle Larson the win. So Kyle Larson puts another, dirt. What's the word I'm looking for? Crown jewel.
Yeah.
On his shelf.
At least he won something.
Yeah.
Man, that would be real tough if he came out not winning anything.
At this point, I don't know if he cares. I think he's just out living. Use some internet terms. He's just out living his best life. Just jumping in whatever he can, running a race series that seems like it could take over all of, dirt sprint car racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that he's taking, extremely serious race-wise is, his NASCAR and then the 1100.
Well, and even recently, he's, there was like an old interview circulating that he may not race NASCAR into his 40s. That, he'll.
Well, how old is he?
He's a little bit, I think he's our age. Well, your age, more your age than mine.
Oh, he's 31.
31. Okay.
Yeah, I see him kind of being more local racing and stuff to kind of help Owen.
But yeah, speaking of high limits, we got the high limit race format. I think it was released yesterday. But yeah, I'll read it off. I put it out in our notes. It's a mix of Outlaw, World of Outlaws, All-Star, with a little small tweaks in there. They will qualify everyone together like Outlaws do, not by heat. Take the fastest qualifier in every heat and push them to start 4th, with everyone else starting straight up, just like the All-Stars did. So you'll have that little bit of, that little invert there with fastest starting 4th. Heat winner plus fastest transfer go on to that night's dash. The quick qualifier from that heat that starts 4th is able to win the heat. They will start up front in the dash, therefore bypassing the redraw. The B will line up like Outlaws do with the 2 fastest qualifiers that didn't transfer, starting on the front row. 2-day show. The top 3 or 4 drivers of the first feature won't have to qualify the second night. They'll be placed into heat races as effectively fastest qualifiers. And then there'll be little tweaks in the format. They'll be doing provisionals, and they're bringing back the choose cone, but only in features. So, I mean, Dan, you'll know more about this than me and Kyle, because as I was reading this and putting our notes in together, I was like, Kyle may know more than I do because he listens to the, track radio, and I just half the time I'm watching Flow while we're at the racetrack.
Just listening to music, chilling.
Yeah. I'm just in my own little world like I am 95% of the time. Anything stick out there for you on?
I think it's nice because, they're doing they do the invert to try to make it more racy. Give it a little bit of chance for somebody else in case it still is hooked up. And hammer down. So I like that stuff going on. In the heat race. And then it's the two fastest qualifiers that didn't transfer going to the B front row. I think that's cool too, because a lot of times something happens, something stupid happens, in a heat race or whatever. Especially if you were, one of the faster cars. It is, if I was faster, I would I would like that rule, So I don't have a problem with any of those. It all seems to help make it pretty racy, and the choose cone's pretty cool. I think it's makes it exciting for the guys to kind of make those last minute decisions and kind of get in each other's heads. So I think I'd be pretty good with it. If I was running the series.
I like the choose cone, whether it being like this or NASCAR, kind of mixing up, like you said, get in the guy's head, wait till that last minute to choose. You see a guy that's been running the bottom with you the whole time, and you take the bottom in front of him, maybe forcing him to take the top, and he's got to take that position from you. Yeah, it's a little more excitement, and why not?
Yeah, and it's more, like I said, it's good for it's just good for especially those top four spots. Most of the time when you qualify, if you're not in the top four, I mean, your chances of trying to even win that heat race in the top four are, really hard with usually how good the tracks still are. So it makes it a little more exciting. Gives the guys a chance to, the guy that's in fourth, may not even get that chance to even be in the top, even finishing in the top four, even winning it. So gives them a good chance to get on the dash, and same thing for the third place guy. And like I said, just mixing it up, and guys will start playing inverts and stuff eventually, I'm sure. So it'll be sweet.
So Dan, in the dirt world, do they do inverts regularly, or?
Yeah, it just kind of depends on the show or what's going on. I mean, sometimes at Wayne County they'd have it, depending who it was, there could be an invert off of your qualifying time, like after you got broke into your heats, might be an invert for. But usually it lines just straight up, and then they do like a redraw, I guess, or invert for features. But usually usually it's just the straight up out of qualifying, at the local stuff, and then the top two or top four just go to a redraw for the feature.
Yeah, because in the asphalt world, at least, I mean, what we did at my track, the heats were all ran reverse order of qualifying. So the slowest car was on the pole, and then the fastest was all the way in the back. So you had to, I mean, it's probably a little easier to fight up to the front on asphalt than it is dirt sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably why also there's not as many, because I've noticed too that on restarts they don't really do double wide restarts in dirt.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, like the Outlaws and everybody, they do double file restarts till halfway, or if a caution comes off of the double file restart, then they go to single file. And it just, they try. I mean, double file, obviously, gets everybody bunched back together, and it makes it a little more, little racing, gets it kind of back exciting. But sometimes it just doesn't work, and they got to go single file with the cone.
So is that what the cone is? Just so nobody drops below
Yeah, so you
before
have to
the
stay. Yeah, so like when they put it out there, you have to stay in line until that cone.
yeah, because I
Like
guess
leader gets to fire in his whatever he wants to do in his zone, around that chalk line that they don't, just to see it, like anywhere from A to B that he can light it up and go. So then everybody's single file and the race really doesn't start until that cone. You can't pass anybody. You can't go high. Can't go low. That's why it's usually basically like a car and a half, in width, just so only one car can go through it.
okay, yeah, because I mean they don't have there's no physical line
Yeah.
as
So like
you would have it on asphalt track painted
yeah.
across. So they have to have it somewhere.
Yeah, and then like I said, the cone just makes it so it's easier for everybody to kind of know what you're shooting for, kind of giving you something to see that, what you're coming out of the corner going to. And, once you're past that, then it's free game.
So we have a question here from Jared, and he did post. This is at Wayne County, I think. Is that what your question was, Jared? So, do you think they would do away with the pill draw and straight up qualify at Wayne County?
Well, if it is at Wayne County, and most of the time they just do pill draw for what you line up for, like when you'd go out for practice and all that stuff. But then usually after that you get your practice, but most time it's just time trial practice. So you get, compared to Flow or All Stars or High Limit or the Outlaws or even the Fast Series. You'll go out, you'll get a green white checker for practice, you'll get your 3 laps, that's it, and then you get your 2 qualifying laps. But like normally Wayne County, if they're not doing like an actual separate qualifying session, you'll notice the cars are out there longer than they are when it's in like another series. So we'll get more like 4, 5, 6 laps, and if you listen to Jason on the radio, you're more prone to get more laps or at least more full laps. But usually you get those 5, 6 laps in your best time. They use that to place you in to how your order for the heat race.
I also feel like there's a lot less practice and hot laps with dirt racing compared to asphalt. I know at Barberton, at least, we'd be starting practice at like noon, 1 o'clock, and it would go until like 4:45 or 4:30, and then we would do qualifying.
Yeah, for dirt though, the track's changing so much. So even if regardless of how long you let the cars out on the track, it's gonna be you're only going back out for a heat race for 8 laps. It's not like we're going out and putting 100 laps on the track for a feature or anything like that. So track changes so much, so you can go out there and practice as much as you want, but progressing through the night,
it's going to
really
change.
do. Yeah, it wouldn't do so much to
I
have
guess
everybody.
That's the thing with dirt is it's the surface is ever changing, and I guess the more you run on it, the more potential for it to get rubbered in, and then that kind of
Yeah, and I mean that's
ruins it a
that's what
little.
it would kind of do. Eventually it would just rubber up in blue groove and either be hooked up single lane or it'd be so slick that there'd only be one way to get around on the bottom, and it definitely would make for some good racing.
I just I show up and take pictures.
I'm looking at something in the notes, and I have no clue what this means, Chris.
Is it the wicker bill?
Is it the wicker bill?
What is that?
Kyle. It's the wicker bill is a piece that goes on top of the wing.
Okay.
For added downforce.
You probably got a picture of it somewhere on my car.
Yeah, the little across the top of the wing, you'll see a little strip of metal. The old like a late model spoiler. How it's just a piece of metal or plexiglass kind of just up, or you'll see on like GT cars, like some of the road racing cars, you'll have the spoiler, and then there's just that little piece of metal going across the back of it. That's what your wicker bill is.
Okay.
Just extra downforce and aerodynamic.
Okay, so it's just that
Check
little wing.
Come on, you're an
check that.
F1 fan, a former F1 fan.
I don't know. That's I've never heard that term before. Wicker bill.
Check
But-
your I put it in the. I'm trying to.
Yeah, just a little.
I found a picture on Google.
Yeah, just a little bit of.
Oh, look, it's the World of Outlaws article about it.
Yeah, I sent you a
So
picture.
nobody-
I sent you a picture on there. You can. It's easy to.
Okay,
kind
so
of
it's just
see
that
in
little
one.
tiny strip of metal
Yeah, right
on the
across
back
the
of
back.
the wing.
Yeah,
Yep, on both of them.
Okay.
There's one on the front, one on the back, one on the front, one on the top.
Oh, there's one on the front and the back. What's
yeah,
the
see
front
it like
one do?
mine are gold. I mean, they're both doing the same thing. I mean, it's just changing air. I mean,
Okay.
we basically run a 1-inch or a 2-inch. I mean, people that are racing and watch racing, guys come up with all sorts of different stuff on them. Run like 2-inch on the right side of it, 1-inch on the left side of it, or they run you'll see them run like jagged spikes on it. From my understanding, they kind of did it back in the day. They used to have disc wings.
Oh,
They run
I see one
disc
with
wings for
jagged spikes. That's cool.
yeah. They used to run disc wings, in all the sprint cars, but then they got away from it in the 410s. They still run them in the 360s and the 305s, but they don't. They run the flat top wings in the 410s. And I thought the whole part of the wicker bill is to kind of help, kind of like F1, kind of make it more racy, so you can be up closer to somebody, because your air obviously changes drastically, when you've got no one in front of you compared to 10 cars in front of you. So it was a way to kind of make that change, as wherever you were. But I think it'd be cool for them just to get rid of it. We've got enough stuff that we can change and make better and buy to make our cars, go and get around places, just between, the tires and the shocks and, some basic chassis stuff. It would just be nice to have a little less things to wipe off and clean at the track or to change, I mean, either way, I guess I wouldn't care as long as the tracks are, at least holding up some sort of rule on it. I know Wayne County was starting to check them a little bit to make sure nothing was bigger than 2-inch or anything, but I wouldn't care either way. I mean, I think I think I'd like to just see them be done with it, but I can see it being both ways. So we'll see how the tests go and how the cars handle without them.
yeah, that goes kind of in my notes there about all of the other series. You've got NASCAR, who's constantly, they don't want to give the drivers more power. I don't think your sprint cars need more power, but you've got the NASCAR, your NASCAR stock cars, that with the next gen car, they're so aero dependent that it's short tracks and road courses have really suffered from how aero dependent these cars are. So you get in clean air and you're just gone. There's no catching up to that person who has clean air. Everyone in dirty air might as well be down on horsepower. And I don't know how much you two pay attention to NASCAR, but as you can see from my room behind me,
You hate it.
yeah, it's awful. I hate it. But
You're a
since
big F1 fan.
they released the next gen car, they've tried everything from flipping the rear diffuser upside down to shorter this and this or that, instead of just giving them more power in that. And then with F1, you have the new underbodies and ground effect that we had mentioned it last week or recently that Red Bull's just run away with it. Red Bull found something out in their car that it's made the racing awful. When Kyle and I started this podcast, almost a year ago to the day.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the Clash or the 24 that
I think it was somewhere in between the 500, the Clash and the 500.
maybe, yeah. Okay. So, when we started this about a year ago, Kyle knew F1. Kyle could tell you all the stuff about F1. I couldn't tell you a thing. I know the names. I think McLaren has the best social media presence, but that's about all I could tell you. I do like that Max has opened up a lot more after winning.
Team Papaya.
His dad has kind of let him go a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, it's all now. Let's work on downforce to try and make these races a little closer. And
but it's okay because all these Drive to Survive dummies are just out there thinking that F1 is the pinnacle of racing and is superior. And
will the new NASCAR series bring in new NASCAR fans?
I don't know, but IndyCar needs to get one. They need more fans. They need the ratings.
Not on the CW.
Yeah. Netflix, can we just have a monopoly on motorsport documentaries, please?
But speaking of your papaya, did you see the new McLaren drop?
Hell yeah, I did.
The new McLaren F1 drop.
I'm telling you, dude. I hope Lando stays there for as long as he needs to and wins his first championship with him.
So, how do you feel about no more blue?
All about the orange, baby. Always will be.
Yeah. The papaya looks good.
Yeah, I love those wheel covers. I'm a sucker for aero discs, though. I mean,
I love when they did that. I mean, it's perfect, except for it reminds me of my my browser going really slow sometimes. I don't like the number.
Yeah, that reminds me of is it Hunkos Hollinger? They had that kind of font in those numbers. Theirs looks great.
Yeah. Juncos is supposed to be releasing their car soon.
But
I mean, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't like the 81 the weird angles. It doesn't look good to me.
I think you could do it
when it's up front. I don't want to hear it.
No, I hope it's up front.
I think we could say as what little F1 fans we are, I think McLaren is the podcast team here. I don't think I think that would be like the official podcast, the official from the Infield podcast. Our team is McLaren.
So apparently in on Off Track with Hinch and Rossi, their podcast, apparently Aero McLaren should be releasing around the 6th, 7th, and 8th of February, from what they said on that.
So a month before,
I think they would know.
But
it's funny because Rossi was saying that Pato's car is first, and Pato said, "No, my car's last because we'll lose all the views if my car's first. We'll lose the traction."
Which, yeah, I mean,
true.
I would definitely, say McLaren is our team here for F1. I don't know about IndyCar. Maybe. I'm trying to think.
Fan. I'm definitely a fan of Aero McLaren. But there's some other teams that.
Rahal.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to. I think as Ohioans, we could not vote for Rahal
and Meyershank. I mean, they're our home team.
I've got my Meyershank hats hanging up there.
I mean, I only have merch from 2 teams, and those 2 teams are Meyer Shank and McLaren. So
Can you tell it's getting close to 7:00?
yeah,
there's another one in here somewhere. I don't know where. Oh, he's right there. We're dog sitting my roommate's mom's min pin, and he's been like, I'll just keep catching him like in the camera every once in a while. But yeah, other news, other big news. And I'd asked you guys before if we'd covered this last week, because I think, Kyle, you and I had talked about this, but the SRX series is dead.
yeah, that is
that announcement coming shortly after Ray Evernham had announced he had bought the rights to the IROC name and was planning to, I think, at least run one race this year.
Yeah, like Tony's getting out of a lot of everything, and I think his old lady's pregnant, right?
Yes.
Like she's pregnant, and he's racing a Top Fuel, so he's kind of getting out of everything that he was, kind of messing with.
Well, according to the rumor mill online, Stuart Haas Racing is doing pretty poorly with sponsorship right now.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter this week. There was an account that it was posting that teams that had lost sponsorships, and they lost their biggest one in Busch going to Ross Chastain. This week being media, I think today was media day or yesterday was media day, and you're starting to see all of these drops of like drivers in fire suits, which Alex Bowman's purple fire suit is sick. His purple Ally fire suit. But yeah, you saw
Chastain have a man crush.
Chastain in his Busch Light suit, and they lost Smithfield with Eric Almirola retiring and kind of just going to Xfinity part-time. So they lost Hunt Brothers Pizza going over to Penske. So yeah, I mean, they're losing a lot of those big name sponsorships. And I think we had talked about it in our group chat is is Tony going to sell off those charters? Because charters are going for $40 million right now, and I think he owns 2 of the Stuart Haas charters. So what's $80 million when you're trying to run a Top Fuel team right now? You got a family.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's like his whole grand scheme kind of changed. I'm sure the drag racing thing's a little bit, different and a whole different type of lifestyle, but it seems like he's doing it more for, her and, having a kid and everything. So, that's cool at the end of the day, but it is, it is a big shock of change there, and kind of makes you think what would ever happen to Eldora for the next coming years. I think it's kind of enough of a baby for him that it's not too much of a hassle he'd want to get rid of, just with how much they run. But obviously it would kind of throw a flag up to see what if that means the price is actually out there now for it.
Does he selling these off? Do we finally get with Bristol Dirt being canceled, do we get a Eldora Cup Series date in 2025?
Please.
This is a topic Kyle and I have had of with some of these small dirt tracks and wanting the Cup Series on an actual dirt track, not an asphalt track covered in dirt. Does that Eldora area, the Dayton area, do they have the infrastructure to handle a Cup race? Do we kind of take in that the Cup Series, you don't need 50,000 people at the race. A lot of people are watching it on TV. So if you do a race at an actual dirt track like Eldora, do you have a good race?
There will be no media there.
Kyle has a vendetta against
No,
Eldora.
they have a vendetta against me. But no, because their biggest complaint is that they don't have enough media space. So how can they even hold a NASCAR race? Do you put something? Do you build a tent on the outside of the track and make a media center?
With how busy the World 100 is, there's plenty of room there for anything. It's just how much they want to deal with of those.
My thoughts on the whole thing is do it, make it a big event. Make it something, you have you had the All-Star race last year at not Bowman Gray. What track did they do the All-Star race at?
North Wilkesboro?
North Wilkesboro. Yeah. You had it at North Wilkesboro that can only hold 30,000 people or whatever, not nowhere near what these giant tracks can hold. Make it an event. Everyone, there was a lot of uproar when they kind of got rid of the dirt. There's enough fans that want to see it. Put it in, and it doesn't even have to be Eldora necessarily. Put it in a dirt capital. Put it at Eldora or put it at Knoxville. You ran the trucks at Knoxville. That was kind of a mess because the Truck Series did Truck Series things.
Truck Series is a mess.
I do love the Truck Series, though.
It's a mess.
Put it at a dirt track. Put it somewhere where you have a grounds crew that's going to know what the dirt is going to do and make it a good race. Do it. I mean, again, you don't need 50,000 people at the race. You don't need, just make it a made for TV event. Yeah, years ago they did, is it the Requiem of a Dream or whatever, where they had all of the NASCAR drivers in late models.
That was my favorite. That was the prelude to the dream.
Prelude for the dream of everyone in late models painted up like their cup
NASCARs.
cars.
Yeah, it was NASCARs and like older guys and old time racers and retired guys. And
you do it like that. You don't use the cup car. Take the windshields out. Put a dirt screen in it. Where we're making it so hard because they built this spec car. Take the underbody off and put a screen in it and let them have at it. It's stock car racing. Just go.
I see them. I see them going more the other way towards the big stuff like the Clash and the stuff with the concerts. And I don't care about the concerts and all the breaks, but I like the format of how all that works, which is pretty cool.
Which that was a big discussion on Twitter today and it's kind of been a big discussion all off season. Joey Logano had said something a couple of weeks back that NASCAR fans are spoiled because of what interactions they can have with the drivers. But over the years, they've limited the interactions with the drivers. And
out of all racing, it's almost the least amount, though.
Yeah, exactly. I
guess whoever you want to be, but like
that cabinet right there, there's a signed Larson diecast that I got just walking up to his trailer. I brought a little NASCAR 164th there. He signed it, and I bought a hoodie. And he was like, "Do you want me to sign that too?" And I was like, "No, because I like to wear them." And he laughed. There's a signed Rico license plate there you can kind of see. Up on my other wall, there's a signed Casey Kane wing panel. So, yeah, dirt racing, of course, and especially if you buy a pit pass, you have probably the most access. IndyCar, you buy the paddock pass. How many drivers did your kids meet this year?
Oh, my gosh. I ran into so many drivers after driver introductions before they were going to the grid to get in their cars, just running past me to go use a porta-john. It's weird sometimes. Like, we were driving around at night and we just saw Rossi playing with his dog. Especially if you're camping at an IndyCar race, you have amazing access.
The same with IMSA. IMSA does a full paddock autograph thing where you can walk up, and I think, of course, what was I wearing? I don't remember. I was wearing some NASCAR gear when I did IMSA 2 years ago, and they were like, "Oh, I coach his kid as a driver," because I was just walking around getting autographs because I was bored and wanted to do it. So
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's I think all racing you have a better chance of like meeting who you want than most sports. I mean, sports you get to meet them too, but
yeah,
and
I
I
mean, you
get
get
it's
to
busy and there's so many people, but like dirt track racing, like if you're a huge freaking like you can spend 10 grand and get a sprint car just to be able to say you lined up on the grid beside Alex Bowman and that's who you like, but you could never have anything like that in NASCAR.
no, never. I mean, but yeah, it's really funny. I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I've been to multiple NASCAR races in the last couple of years, and Kyle, when we did NASCAR trucks last year, yeah, Troy, drag racing. Kyle and I, we did NHRA last year, and we stood by Tony Stewart's truck while Tony was just out there looking at stuff. I think they had an engine torn apart or something.
Yeah, like it's
And the pits are
there's
way
no
more
real
exciting there than any other pit.
Oh yeah, you see everyone just walking around with like a piston. So there's just a guy like walking around with a piston, like, oh yeah, I just walked up to that one. And I know some of them, they'll be like, oh, $20 and you can buy these things. And yeah, the stuff with NASCAR, and it was a NASCAR executive talking today about, different stuff. But I mean, if you've ever been to a NASCAR race in the last couple of years, Kyle, how much downtime did we have at the truck race?
Oh my
Hours on end.
Yeah,
You
it was
you
a
go
lot.
to a cup race and you have to get there at 7 a.m. to be able to get a good parking spot and all that kind of stuff.
Packed.
And the race doesn't start till 3:00. So I mean, it doesn't bother me because I like to spend my money on things. You just walk around the gypsy tents outside
Yeah.
and just buy.
Yeah, and it's so weird because NASCAR, I mean, you can compare Xfinity to like Indy Next, and Indy Next races has stuff going on every day, same as IndyCar. There's stuff going on all the time at an IndyCar race. There's nothing going on at NASCAR.
It's the thing that I was going on today was now I didn't pay that much attention to it. Howie, stop it. Is the single practice thing. The Cup Series, they run 1.5 hour practice on Saturday, and you may get 45 minutes of qualifying on Saturday. That's all you get. There's no incentive to buy a Saturday ticket unless you're a crazy person like me and likes the Xfinity series. There's no incentive to get a Friday ticket unless you like the truck series. There's no incentive to spend a weekend at the track unless you like partying in the infield. So, we had talked about it when you went to Detroit last year, Kyle. There was concerts and this and that.
Oh my
You
God.
stayed busy and entertained all weekend. It was a destination.
Yeah, when the
go.
track was hot, there was something on it all the time. There was, I mean, both Trans Ams were there. Pilot Challenge was there, Indy Next and IndyCar. I mean, every single day there was something going on track. They had Corvette rides or a Corvette club that got to do laps of the track, like as a whole. Michigan State Police did a couple laps. They liked that. But yeah, there was stuff going on in the fan village. There were 2 concerts Friday night, 2 concerts Saturday night. I mean, and I went to the concert Saturday night and it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So and
it was packed.
I at the end of the day, I do love my NASCAR. I do love going to Cup Series races, but yeah, I mean, if you were to, to go and get a weekend camping pass, you're infield camping tickets for 4 people, you're spending probably a minimum of $1,000. Provide a little more for the fans that are there than just, half hour of practice that, at 1:00 and then half hour of qualifying at 4:00 and all of this. So there are more people. You have more incentives to enjoy the weekend. Yeah, some of the stuff with Mid-Ohio, like when we're doing SVRA, you'll have downtime of just guys putting around in their Mini Cooper, but I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, some of the little extra stuff is cool to see sometimes, depending on how the races are going and what the whole deal is.
What needs to be out racing more every weekend somewhere is stadium trophy trucks.
Yeah, what's going on with those?
I don't know.
Even a
Dan,
thing
have you ever got to
anymore?
see the Robbie Gordon's stadium trophy trucks? Where they do jumpies in the middle of the track?
I've seen when he used to race them.
He still does. His son does too. There's a picture I did
one.
at Mid-Ohio 2 years ago.
I mean, for a manufactured product, it's pretty exciting still. It literally is like WWE. It's just the winner's already predetermined.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's entertaining. It's great.
But
Monster Jam's also predetermined, and that's fun.
Back to some of the NASCAR stuff with media day to day. You had this is going off of last week. Ross Chastain in that the preview for the Netflix show, punching Chastain punching Noah Gragson, and this week it was announced that Wendy's took the sponsorship from Legacy, and Wendy's will be sponsoring one Xfinity race for SVG and then 2 Cup races, and then like Daniel Suarez gets one at Daytona too. But
I saw Jimmy Johnson got a couple races too through Carvana.
Yeah, Jim Jam coming back for Daytona, Texas, Dover, both Kansas races, Indy, Charlotte, Vegas, and Phoenix. So Kyle, maybe with Indy, we'll get to see Jim Jam finish second to last again.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, so he's gonna do a NASCAR race. He's not doing the 500.
No, yeah. He's going back to the Brickyard for NASCAR weekend.
Wasn't it that he had a new sponsor?
He's running Carvana again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Carvana is
Does he have
gonna
stock in that company or something.
I don't know. Is gonna
just
sponsor
want to see him race
all of those races.
Oh. My 8-year-old would be very happy that he's racing more.
Hey, what was it? I guess it would be 3 years ago now. That first year he ran IndyCar with all of the with just doing the road courses. That made me buy a ticket to Mid-Ohio because I wanted to be able to say I got to see Jim Jam run an IndyCar. So, hey, I mean, why not? When you're his age, when you've accomplished what he's done, why not come back and you own the team? Why not come back and run some races for fun? It's the same news with Alex Bowman a couple weeks ago saying when he retires, he wants to come back and just run Outlaws. When you've accomplished that, when you've raced at some of the highest series in racing, why not just come back and have fun with it? Casey Kane out winning championships with his team and Brad Sweet.
Yeah. I think all them guys kind of want to get back to some roots and have some other, type of racing, because I'm sure they get tired of all their politics they deal with too. But it's pretty obviously they all keep coming back to one place, the dirt track stuff. So that makes us know that it's better than the rest.
I don't think Kyle and I would disagree much there, especially when it comes to some of the asphalt stuff. I don't have, besides major series on my schedule this year, I don't have one asphalt race.
Yeah, neither do I.
Besides,
and I only went to one last year.
Did I go with you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay, yeah, super
Yeah.
mods.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, those were cool. Those were kind
It
of
was
fast.
an interesting night.
But
It would have been great if we could have been able to actually see what was happening at the last race.
last
They would
thing
have
I
turned the lights
have
on.
for today is racing this week. We got the Roar before the 24.
Yes.
I do love Daytona 24, Le Mans, just because I just put it on my TV and it just stays on my TV for 24 hours. Whatever I have to do, I'll do cleaning or whatever, and it's just on my TV.
There's a hell on my phone on the app.
Yeah. If I'm working, it's on. But IMSA, I don't know. That's some of the most fun at track things I've ever done. Because, like I said, there's signings all the time. You can walk into any, you walk up to anyone's pits, and you'll never know who's standing there. It's always just a good time. But yeah, this weekend we get a little taste of it streaming wise with 2 VP Sports Car Challenge, both Saturday and Sunday, and then we get the qualifying for the 24, where they're going back to like a traditional format of qualifying where each group gets to do their own session. So we'll get to see all the hypercars out racing, and then GT, LMP2, as opposed to like last year. I think it was last year and the year before, you had a 2-hour race for qualifying. So this way, maybe they don't ruin some cars right before the 24. You don't have those darn cheaters in Meyer Shank racing this year. I still don't. I don't know.
Cheaters.
It's air pressure, man.
Not cheaters.
They're just mad that they figured out how to screw with TPMS sensors. I was a tire tech basically for 5-6 years, so TPMS sensors are like the bane of my existence. The last 3 days, with like the weather being as cold as it has, my phone has not stopped of people who I service their vehicles just calling me, my tire pressure light's on. Okay, bring it to me. I'll put air in your tires. It's -10 right now. You just lost a little bit of air.
Use nitrogen.
Or Kyle's wife calling me on Sunday when I'm playing video games. That's what I was doing when you guys came to see me at work.
Of course you were.
But yeah, I mean, I think Chili Bowl is always like the big start of the year. Then we get into the 24. Next thing you know, the Clash is a couple weeks away. Then the 500, and then it's 38 weeks of racing until we're sitting here going, well, now what do I do?
I'm ready for it. I put together our calendar. Holy crap, we're busy in July.
I think May through July is.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't know when you're not busy, judging off the schedule.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This year, it's going to be crazy.
It's a lot more at Mid-Ohio this year.
Yeah. So we still got to make it out to our favorite place of Wayne County. Wayne County's only 40 minutes from Mid-Ohio. So, worst comes to worst, we can always hop in the little hybrid and go visit our best buddy here when we're camping and working a race weekend.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, since the racing ends at 4 or 5 o'clock, we'll just get dinner at Wayne County or McDonald's and then go to Wayne County.
No better place to be on Saturday night.
And then
What's
hopefully, if the late models don't take forever, we'll actually get back to Mid Ohio at a decent time.
We love our late model drivers. Yeah, that's one last thing, and then we'll probably end for the night. We've been going hour and 15. We've talked about my TikTok of like the derisiveness, and Dan kind of brought this up earlier about different fans of different things when we were talking about Wild West Shootout and Chili Bowl. It is really funny how heated people will get about their preferred class at the track.
Oh yeah.
I think it was over the weekend. I had like a 15 comment thread of two guys going back and forth whether it was late models or sprint cars that were better. And it was just I will not comment back on anyone's things because it's just funny to watch them like argue. And yeah, people will get in there and just argue with the stranger about their favorite class at the track.
It's the best person to argue with.
just get online and argue with a stranger.
Yeah, so if you're bored, just
But yeah, I don't think I have anything else. We did good with our notes. I think we got everything on our notes. You guys got anything else?
I do have.
You go.
So I have some launch dates for more F1 liveries. And it's funny because McLaren just kind of shoot their shot and went way before everyone else, because everyone else is, February. And then McLaren, apparently they were supposed to do February 14th. Okay, so apparently they didn't want to be outshadowed by Mercedes. So, yeah. They went a little early. But I'm okay with it.
First to show it, first to the victory lane.
Let's hope so.
So maybe we'll see, because they're all pre-recorded anyway. Maybe we'll see some other teams just randomly dropping theirs early too. Red Bull is going to probably look exactly the same. Make it gold.
I mean, it's kind of hard to change your branding when your branding has colors and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, they still haven't said what AlphaTauri is going to be.
What, the team name or?
Yeah.
Red Bull Junior.
Red Bull Light. Red Bull Zero.
Sugar-free.
Yeah.
Sugar-free.
Sugar-free Red Bull.
Zero
We're
carbs.
not Red Bull.
Wait, what's the seasonal editions? They'll just pick a seasonal edition. It's going to be the Red Bull Cinnamon Pear, which is the best Red Bull if you haven't had it.
That's a flavor of
the
Red
winter
Bull?
The winter Red Bull. Go out and try it. I almost bought one for the show tonight when I went to the store today.
I'm gonna have to go to the gas station tomorrow morning.
Yeah, get yourself one of the winter editions. It's like a maroon
red.
Yeah, it's like a maroonish red can. It's the winter edition. It's cinnamon pear. It's way better than you would think it is.
Huh.
We need an energy drink sponsor on this show.
Yeah.
Because Kyle and I, we love our energy drinks.
I have not had one this year yet.
You had one on New Year's Eve.
That doesn't count.
Because I brought you a NOS.
But I haven't had one since. I've also only had like three drinks since then.
So I don't have energy drinks much anymore.
Dan, what do you got to close out today?
Not a whole lot. Just we got Ricky coming on, Ricky Peterson next week. Come talk a little bit. Kind of let him talk, and I'm sure we'll have some questions for him. And got some other guys lined up for some upcoming weeks past that. But Ricky, that's it. Ricky RP2, he'll be here next week. I'm not sure if he's got a camera and stuff set up. I'll work on that with him this week. But yeah, we'll at least get to talk to Rick next week and be a good time.
Last from me is you two do your research for and do get a 24 winner. I don't think we want to do every class, but get your overall winner for next week. And yeah, that way we can keep our Kyle this year will keep try and keep our running tally of wins and things. And yeah, I before we started, I told the guys I would we'll have our notable drivers for the 24 this year. All our guys in different series that are running. So yeah, that's all I've got this week.
We do have a question. Yes, Jared, I think Dan still has merch available.
Yeah, it's on right now. It's on. Got our most recent stuff's on Angry Ducks website. We got some other stuff that's left over from last year and prior years. If you want any of that stuff, just send me a message. But we'll get some stuff posted up for everyone to look at, and hopefully have some from the infield shirts and some Ohio, motorsports shirts coming soon, and have those to get out there too.
But yeah, that's all we have for this week. If you would like to be a guest on the show, send us a shout out. I think there's a link somewhere. I'll post it again for a form to fill out to be on the show. But we will see you next week, same time, different place. Could be a different place. You never know. Wherever you're watching it from. You could be in your car right now, which drive safe if so. But this has been the FTI podcast. We will see you all next week.
See ya.